Hey, Funfara families. Hey, I have a special video for you today, and that is that we're going to talk about something that is all over and you guys are excited about, and that is technology. I mean, you guys either are using phones or iPads or laptops or watches or all kinds of devices all over. And so today we have a special guest and friend, John Rattray, who actually is in technology because he started his own company with a wearable tech. Isn't that so cool? So we really enjoyed getting to know John. So we're actually gonna ask him a few questions and get to know how did he get to this point where he's creating his own tech. Isn't that so cool? So John, good to see you. And how did you, when you were a kid, like a middle school or high schooler, you've done so much stuff, and it wasn't just all like science and math. I mean, I saw that you were like into sports, soccer, basketball, lacrosse. You were in drama, in productions, West Side Story, playing the sax. You did all kinds of stuff. How did that play this whole part into being who you are now?
I would say that all of those things together really helped broadened how I saw the world. Like I learned so much doing all these different things. So drama, I learned how to be charismatic and talk loud. And that's very important when you're running a company and you have to talk to people about your new idea. It's really not helpful for you to go into a room of people and say, "Hi, my name is John."
Yeah.
Right? You want to be able to excite people and really intrigue them with your idea. So that's just one example, but really that's how all of those different elements and activities really helped me get to the position where I am today, just learning different skills from all of these different activities that I did.
That's awesome. So really, I'll just highlight, it sounds like, John, you are a very well-rounded, meaning that you really developed a lot of different parts of yourself. Now, did you find that you are naturally gifted in all of those areas, or did you actually have to kind of start being a beginner and learning like how to be dramatic, how to, how to use those things? How did that, what was that process?
Yeah, so no, not naturally gifted in all of those areas at all. It's definitely been an experience where I've developed over time, especially now, because you highlighted the role that I have my own company. It's very important for me to be able to talk confidently, and that's something that didn't come naturally to me growing up because I was the youngest child. So I had two older brothers, and it oftentimes felt like I was overshadowed because they were so good at sports, they were so good at school and academics, and so I really sort of in their shadow. So getting to this point now where I'm able to talk confidently about what I'm doing and being able to have an important part in a conversation and not just sort of hanging back and not really engaging is something that I really had to develop in my personality over time. And a lot of other qualities in myself as well, just I had to develop. There are other qualities that did come naturally to me. Being inventive, that's my thing. I'm always thinking about cool new ideas, and I'd say 90% of the day, there's some idea that I'm cooking in the back of my brain. So really finding inspiration from everyday life, that wasn't something that I had to sort of cultivate in myself. But so it's both of those things. You take what you take what you've been given in terms of natural gifts, and use that to the best of your ability and to your advantage. And then at the same time, you're just working to better those other qualities that didn't come naturally.
That's awesome, John, because I talk to a lot of kids, and one of the beliefs that we've really tried to push back on is the belief that there are some people who have talents and some people who don't. And so we've always said that everybody is created special and unique, and everybody has their own set of talents. that only they can do. So I hear that yeah, you found your own way through the combination of things that you found were good and already in you, like the inventiveness part, and then you also grew the other parts of you too. That's awesome. So so starting your own company sounds like a tremendous amount of work. Why would somebody want to do that? And what is the mission that you have with your company?
Why would someone want to do that? Because they see something, they see an opportunity that others don't, or they see a way to benefit others in a way that's not currently in existence. And so they're really driven to take that thing that only they see
Yeah.
and bring it into reality. And it's a really powerful driving factor, speaking from experience.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why people would, want to start a company and take on all of the different responsibilities that come along with it. You learn as you go along. So when starting this company, I didn't know all of the different intricacies that are involved in starting a company. And over time, you just learn step by step, day by day, and it's something that is achievable as long as you stick with it and just continue to put one step in front of the other. And again, if you're motivated by just really wanting to have an impact and really bring something that you believe to be amazing to the world, then I fully support people in their ambition to do that and take on that challenge. It's really exciting, and I haven't regretted it at any point during this process.
That's awesome. So I resonate with that because I love thinking about ideas too. So John, when you thought about this company and sort of what is needed in the world, do you spend time thinking about the problems that people have and then the possible solutions, or how does that idea process work for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a bit hard for me to know exactly. Sometimes it just sort of hits me like inspiration.
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with the activities that you mentioned earlier. So being in the play, playing saxophone, playing soccer, being really involved in academics, being in so many different places around so many different people allows you to get a sense of what people's needs are and what people's needs are in specific areas. There might be a need for soccer players in tracking their fitness over time, and that's something that you would never know unless you went and played soccer or watched it on TV or somehow had some sort of entrance into that environment. So it also really helps me to expose myself to a lot of different areas because it makes it more clear to me about how to solve these problems, where these problems actually are. And then another thing in helping to solve those problems is that you can draw from other areas, because oftentimes problems are being solved for one application in one area that would be very helpful in another area, but because those two areas aren't linked, people don't make the connection. So by being involved in so many things, you can be that link and you can make that connection of like, oh, they're using this device here for this purpose, but it would be very helpful over here for this purpose. Maybe I should, find a way to do that. So
yeah, I love that because I know I've heard that people talk about creativity as connecting one idea with another idea that hasn't been connected before. Because sometimes, I put pressure on myself thinking, oh, I need to come up with a brand new idea. Whereas sometimes the best ideas are just, hey, nobody's thought about taking this idea and putting it over here or connecting, those dots that haven't been connected. So that's awesome. And that's one of the things that we also try to encourage with kids is that try a bunch of stuff because you don't know actually how that's going to be used or when you might be used, it might be useful for you. So I hear that those things have been have been really helpful. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know the kids are going to know. So what is your tech? Can you describe your tech to them?
Sure, absolutely. I'm wearing one right now. So what they are wristbands that communicate wirelessly with one another, and they help share information about their wearers to help people get to know one another. So, for example, if you were at an orientation, so let's say you're going to school for the first day and you don't know anyone else, you would wear one of our wristbands and you would enter some information on an iPad about, what's your favorite sport, or what's your what's your go-to way to pass time during quarantine? Is it watching TV? Is it reading a book? Is it listening to music? You answer these different questions about yourself. And then as you walk around and get in proximity of other people, you will get an alert that says, hey, you and Bob are both soccer players, or you and Cindy both love reading books or listening to music. And so that's how our technology is used to just help people who are around one another get to know one another.
That's cool. That's cool. And I think that's needed today, because I mean, with whole social distancing, I think there's a need for people to figure out who to connect to and who could be a potential great friend. That's awesome. So, hey, we're going to wrap up. I got one other question for you, John,
All right.
because I know we talked about it before. Who is your favorite superhero, and when did you start loving that superhero?
Question. Favorite superhero is most certainly Batman. And I have been a big fan of Batman since I can remember about anything about superheroes. I really like Batman because I like gadgets, I like technology, and Batman was he was a superhero that had all the coolest technology. He had the Batmobile, he had the Batcave, he had the Batarang, everything that starts is prefaced with Bat. He had it, and it was always so super cool. And I think me being wanting to be super at that point in my life, he was the superhero that I imagined that I could be. All the other ones had these powers that came from being bitten by a radioactive spider, or, I don't know, some sort of galaxy spewed galaxy juice and it made somebody really strong or something like that. But Batman, he was cool, and I related to him because he just used his mind to create cool technologies. And he worked out a lot, and that's what allowed him to be a superhero. So that's what inspired me. I was like, I can build cool things. Maybe I can build enough cool things that maybe one day I could be a superhero too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's what we talk about too, is that everybody has a superpower, and you channeled Batman thank you so much, John. It's really been fascinating to hear your story. So we really appreciate that.
It's been a pleasure. I really hope that we can get to see one another again real soon once things start getting back to normal.
Absolutely. Stay safe, John.
See you, Duke.
See ya.